This is Father Bob Warren of the Franciscan Friars of the Atonement. Thank you for listening to this rebroadcast of the Ave Maria Hour radio show. The Friars' popular Ave Maria Hour was first brought to the radio airwaves in 1939, recorded in New York City and on the mountainside grounds at Graymoor, our home in Garrison, New York. These timeless classic stories of the Bible and the lives of the saints came to life each week through dramatic reenactment by professional actors and actresses. You know, friends, Christ once said, "Do not hide your treasure under a bushel." In saying this, he meant share your gifts, share your talents. The Friars of the Atonement feel the message in these broadcasts remains as powerful and timely as when they were originally aired, and we are so happy to be able to share them with you today. To learn more about the missions and ministries of the Friars of the Atonement, I invite you to visit our website, www.atonementfriars.org. In the meantime, sit back and enjoy this rebroadcast of the Ave Maria Hour.
And now in the Ave Maria Hour's New York studio, we begin the story of Saint Teresa, the Little Flower.
Our story begins not 1,000 years ago, or even 100, short as these times are in the history of the Church. For the story of Saint Theresa of Lisieux is a tale of only yesterday, a tale of radiance shining through the grubbiness of a modern commercialized world. And so we take you back over the span of a few short years. The date is October 1917. The place is the Cathedral of Bayeux in France. Outside the cathedral, a vast throng is gathered. This is the overflow, the many thousands who could not be accommodated inside the sacred building. Many in the vast multitude bow their heads in prayer as they wait for news from within. The mood is solemn, yet exultation is on many of the faces. What is the meaning of this great gathering? What ceremony is going on inside the cathedral so sanctified that pilgrims from all over the world are in attendance? Let us journey inside to discover. As we enter, the soaring voice of a great congregation meets us. Then the Bishop of Bayeux and Lisieux speaks.
Your Eminence, Antonio Cardinal Vigo, my venerable brethren in the Episcopacy, pilgrims from many nations, we are gathered here by the decree of the Sacred Congregation of Rites in Rome, authorized by the Holy Father. It is our duty, in accordance with the apostolic process, to investigate the life on earth of one Sister Teresa of the Child Jesus. This investigation is almost without precedent in the annals of our Church. Sister Teresa was not the founder of a new holy order. She did not die the death of a martyr propagating the faith in distant lands. She was not even Mother Superior of her own convent. She was nothing more than the novice mistress, hardly out of her novitiate herself. Nor did she live to a great age, enjoying the veneration gathered from long years of sanctity. Sister Teresa's life ended on earth at the age of 24. What is more, scarcely 20 years have passed since her death. Yet so far and so fast as news of this little flower of Jesus traveled, so many have been the remarkable favors she has bestowed upon the faithful, that His Holiness has, by special decree, set aside the canonical law, which requires 50 years to elapse from the time of death before authorizing beatification, and order this investigation to proceed immediately. We are a court, and as such we must review facts objectively. We are concerned here with the evidence upon a single question: whether or not Sister Teresa, during her short stay upon earth, practiced virtue in an heroic degree. Upon that one point will her elevation to the category of saints depend. The stand supporting the claims of Sister Teresa will be taken by the Advocatus Dei, God's advocate. Opposed to him will be the Advocatus Diaboli, the devil's advocate. The investigation will now begin with the Advocatus Dei taking the stand, and God himself as the judge.
Monseigneur, for my first witness, I will call Mother Agnes of Jesus, Prioress of the Carmel of Lisieux.
Mother Agnes of Jesus, take the stand.
You are Mother Agnes of Jesus, are you not?
I am.
And in life, you were blood sister of Sister Teresa, were you not?
I was.
Your sister, christened Marie-Françoise Teresa, was born at Alençon, France, on January the 2nd, 1873, and died at Lisieux on September the 30th, 1897, at the age of 24. Is that right?
It is.
Now, Mother Agnes, will you draw upon your reminiscences and tell the court something about your parents and early life? We must prove beyond a doubt that the home you and your Sister Teresa were brought up in was a truly Christian home.
My father was Louis Martin, a devout and good man. My mother, before her marriage, had presented herself at the convent of the Sisters of Charity in the hope of gaining admission. But the Mother Superior, guided by the will of God, turned her away, knowing she was wanted in the world. And my mother, accepting the judgment,
"Oh, my God, since I'm unworthy to be thy spouse in the religious life, I will enter the marriage state to fulfill thy holy will. I beseech thee to make me the mother of many children, and to grant that all of them be consecrated to thee."
And so, Mother Agnes, your mother married Louis Martin, and her prayer was answered. Of the 9 children born to her, Sister Teresa was the youngest, was she not?
She was.
As you were older than your Sister Teresa, and doubtless have many vivid memories of her, can you tell the court what she was like as a child?
Oh, she was always pure in heart. She was humble, shy, retiring, and sensitive to a degree that, it's terrible to remember.
Take heart, Mother Agnes. Remember, she is now in heaven. Make her virtue live for us here on earth.
Well, then, you must know that a great bond existed between my Sister Teresa and our father. Our mother had died shortly after Teresa's birth, and our father had dedicated himself to be both parents to his grieving children, especially his youngest. Teresa was the apple of his eye, and she reciprocated with a like affection. He called her his little queen. She called him her king. One day, when she couldn't have been more than 7 or 8, I heard her calling through the house. "Oh, Papa!" "What are you calling Papa for? You know he's out of business and won't be back until this evening."
But he is back. Look, he's standing outside. Come over to the window, Agnes, and see for yourself.
Teresa, you're imagining things again. How could it be, Papa? It's only 2 o'clock,
Agnes, I'm frightened. Take hold of my hand.
What's the matter, Teresa, you silly little child?
That man there. That's like Father. Why does he stand with his back to the house? Why doesn't he turn and come toward us?
What man? I don't see any man.
But you must. Out there in the black clothes. Agnes, he is turning.
Oh, Teresa, what is it?
So old and so white, as if he couldn't even speak. Oh, Papa. Oh, Papa.
You mean, Mother Agnes, that in that moment, Teresa saw her father as an old man?
She saw more than that. She saw then, while still a child, what we were all destined to see later. My father stricken with a paralysis that consumed his whole body.
Monseigneur!
Vicatus Theobald, you may speak.
Monseigneur, the issue before us is to prove or disprove the heroic virtue of Sister Teresa of the Child of Jesus during her stay on earth. It seems to me that the episode we have just heard related rather proves her supernatural powers, with which we are not here and now concerned.
Vicatus Dei, how do you answer that charge?
Monseigneur, I agree with the devil's advocate that such things as miraculous powers are in God's hands rather than in ours. But I submit that the extreme sensitiveness of the child Teresa has an important bearing on this investigation, as I will show if I'm permitted to proceed.
Will you permit the Advocatus Dei to proceed?
I will, Monseigneur.
And now, Mother Agnes, it is only natural to suppose that a child as sensitive as your sister Teresa, and already at that tender age so deep in the love of God, was thinking of the joys of serving him in some religious order.
She may have been contemplating that in her heart, but if so, we did not know about it until later.
And when was that?
In the year 1882, my sister Teresa underwent an experience that transformed her and assured her that her vocation in life lay in service to God.
1882? She must have been only 9 years old.
She was. And whereas others of us have a whole lifetime to learn the wonders of God's love, she only had 24 years.
And, Mother Agnes, what was this experience?
It came about during a fever. She had been so seriously ill that it was realized only divine intercession could save her. Our father sent to Paris for a novena of masses to be said at the shrine of Our Lady to obtain the cure of his poor little queen.
My queen.
Father, I want to be carried to the window. I want to see once more God's beautiful world.
Once more?
Lift me up in your strong arms.
All right, my darling. Come now. There. Is there pain?
Don't mind. Carry me.
Yes, my darling. There. We're at the window.
Oh, God, who has created this beautiful world, I cannot leave it yet. I have yet to serve thee.
My little queen.
Father, I must live. That statue of the Virgin at the foot of my bed. Kneel down and pray for me, Father. Leave me here in this chair.
But, my dear,
pray, Father, please.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Father, look.
Teresa, you're standing up.
Father, look. Our Lady. She's smiling at me.
From that moment on, she knew what she had to do in life.
Monseigneur,
Advocatus Diaboli.
Again may I remind the Advocatus Dei that we are here to determine a question of heroic virtue. I do not question that Our Lady interceded to save the life of Sister Teresa during her grave illness. But heroic virtue is something else. It has to do with qualities inside the person herself. Indomitable courage, fortitude, and faith. Will the Advocatus Dei proceed to the proof of these?
I will, Monseigneur. And I will proceed in the order that the devil's advocate has listed them. First, courage. Now, Mother Agnes, can you relate to this court an act of courage such as will put Sister Teresa's fortitude in the service of God beyond question?
There were so many acts of courage. All her life she bore so much, so bravely.
Well, tell us of one specific example. Perhaps, as the later events of her life are so well known, an earlier incident drawn from your memory.
Well, there was the time when, to enter the vocation God had chosen for her, she had to resort to desperate measures.
How was that, Mother Agnes?
It was soon after her 14th birthday. She knew then that to perform God's will on earth, she must enter the convent at Carmel. But the superiors at the convent, unaware of the precious shortness of her life, decided she was too young and tried to put her off for a few years. It was while Teresa was suffering from this bitter disappointment that she accompanied our father on a pilgrimage to Rome. The day came when the pilgrims were to be received at the Vatican, and overcoming her fears, Teresa resolved to supplicate the Holy Father himself. But when they were actually in the audience chamber...
When you have kissed the hand, pass quietly on your way.
How can I disobey such an order? Yet I must speak to perform thy holy will.
Take courage, little Teresa. Speak to the sovereign pontiff, and he will listen.
Their next Holy Father is a child called Marie Françoise Thérèse Martin. She is the daughter of Louis Martin, whom you have just blessed. Teresa?
Yes?
Don't keep the Holy Father waiting. You may kneel now and kiss his hand.
Holy Father, I beg you.
Teresa, I forbid you to speak.
But I must speak, I must. Holy Father, allow me to enter the Carmel at the age of 15.
What's this? What's this?
He is a headstrong child, Your Holiness, who desires to become a Carmelite and does not know how to wait.
Oh, I see. Child, Teresa, is that your name?
Yes.
You must learn patience. You must obey your superiors in this matter and do what they decide best.
But one word from you, Holy Father. I can't wait. I can't have patience because I have not long enough to live.
Come, child, come. Take him, Monsieur Martin. And now, Holy Father, the next supplicant for your blessing.
Wait a minute, Father Reveroni. This child, Teresa. In my name, tell the Carmelites to do the best they can for her. It may be that it is God's will she enter the convent now, despite her tender age.
And so, Mother Agnes, as the result of this conspicuous act of courage in a girl so young, Teresa was taken into the convent at Carmel at the age of 15.
Yes.
Thank you, Mother Agnes. You may step down now.
Vicatus Dei will be the next witness you will call.
I will call no more, Monseigneur.
No more?
No, Monseigneur. I have brought many more witnesses whom I had intended to take the stand, but I no longer think that necessary. Through the testimony of Mother Agnes, we have already covered the first 15 years of Sister Teresa's life. We have proved her courage and determination of spirit. We have demonstrated her sensitiveness of soul, amounting at times almost to prophetic vision. And we have established beyond doubt the consuming nature of her piety and devotion. At the age of 15, she became a Carmelite and remained a Carmelite till she ended her earthly pilgrimage at the age of 24. 9 years of constant sacrifice, constant service, dedicated to the delight of him she loved above all. I could call witnesses, if I chose, to attest to the humiliations and mortifications she suffered during those years, without a sound of complaint ever emanating from her lips. It could be told how she always sought the hardest work, the most cruel tasks, delighting in the fact that what was weakening her physical body was lifting her soul nearer to heaven. And I could show how, at the end, she died a martyr's death, refusing to acknowledge illness, refusing to give up the duties of her vocation despite the agonies of her last days on earth. I could call witnesses to testify to all of this. But the whole world knows of the heroic nature of her life in the Carmel convent. To tell the story again would be superfluous. And so, Monseigneur, I rest my case, challenging the devil's advocate to shake, in any particular he can, the glorious record of Teresa of Lisieux. Just Sister Teresa, she now is called. If the sovereign pontiff in Rome, as a result of this investigation, can elevate her to the blessed state of beatification, rest assured the whole world will rejoice. Monseigneur, I rest my case.
Vicatus Diabolis, it is now for you to speak and summon what arguments you can to show why Sister Thérèse of Lisieux should not be recommended for beatification by this court.
Monseigneur, prelates of the church, priests and pilgrims from many lands, I am called the devil's advocate because it is my duty to examine critically the lives of those pure spirits for whom popular claim demands sanctification. The Advocatus Dei has sought to show that Sister Teresa was humble, self-sacrificing, virtuous, courageous, devout, unswerving in her great love for God. That she was all this, indeed far more, I do not for one moment contest. And yet I claim, for the purpose of this investigation, these qualities are not enough. We are here to pass upon whether Sister Teresa practiced virtue to an heroic degree. That means that her life, in order to be worthy of veneration, must in some way have served as a model, as a symbol, which will have meaning for future generations of men. Sheer goodness is not enough. Sister Teresa was good, yes, but that is not the question before us. Did her life have meaning in the heroic sense?
Yes.
Mother Agnes, what do you mean by this interruption?
Her life had meaning. I see it now. I must speak.
You should have spoken before, when you...
But, Monseigneur, it was only now, as the devil's advocate was speaking, that I knew.
Well, it's against all procedure, but... Advocatus Diaboli, will you give way to new evidence?
Gladly, Monseigneur. If Mother Agnes can prove that Sister Teresa's life had heroic meaning, I will gladly give way.
Mother Agnes, you may take the stand again. Now, what is it you have to tell?
The symbol. It was when she was saying goodbye to our father as she was leaving to enter the convent. They were walking in the garden.
Oh, my little queen, I'm going to lose you.
Oh, Papa, you make it so hard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just that parting... Well, never mind what I said. I should rejoice that you go to serve the Father of us both.
Oh, what happiness that will be. The Father in whose eyes we're both little blossoms in his garden.
Then, little blossom, take this. And if you keep it always, I will always be with you.
A little daisy.
Yes, the humblest of all God's flowers.
Papa, I will keep it as a relic, and I'll try to model my life after it. Teresa, the child of Jesus, will be a humble flower, and I'll try to live so that always afterwards, humble people, the little souls, can imitate me. I'll do nothing that's out of the ordinary. I'll dedicate my life to praying for and working for the little people of this earth. And after my death, I'll always be where they can reach me. In paradise, I'll scatter flowers upon them.
Silence! Silence! What is the meaning?
Oh, Monsieur, look. Rose petals are falling from the vault of the cathedral.
And so the investigation into the heroic virtue of Sister Teresa ended with the triumph of her cause. There still remained the searching examination of the miracles attributed to her intercession, but these were readily forthcoming and approved. On April 29, 1923, the Venerable Teresa of the Child Jesus was enrolled among the blessed, to the great joy of the whole world. The canonization of Saint Teresa followed in March 1925. Truly might the Sovereign Pontiff, Pope Pius XI, say of her as he did on that occasion, "In our own day, when men seek so passionately after temporal goods, this young maiden lived in our midst, practicing in all simplicity and devotedness the Christian virtues in order to honor God and win eternal life."